John Cruz here, and I have got some advanced drop shot tactics for you. I'm gonna go through a handful of different ones, little tricks of what I do with a drop shot that can help you catch more fish. Now, number one, we gotta look at a drop shot. This is a drop shot what I was using in more open water. It's a Gamakatsu drop shot hook, but you know, any of these drop shot style hooks are what you're gonna use when you're gonna, what they call nose hook. But I don't traditionally, just hang it like a jig chunk on there. A lot of the pros on tour do not fish it that way. They fish it just the way I have it rigged right here. And as you can see, I'm gonna take it off of there. You know, it's a little small drop shot bait. It's a little bomb shot, but it's a small, any small drop shot bait I rig this way. Worms, anything like that. I'm gonna take, and I'm not gonna just hang it on there. I'm gonna thread it right up under what I call the throat. You're gonna thread that on there and then have the hook point just barely sticking out. And then you'll have it to where the bait is rigged on there. It helps hide the hook a little bit, but one of the things that it does is that when you're working that bait and then you reel it in, it does not cause as much line twist. If you just hang it like a jig chunk, if that worm is not perfectly straight on there, it will cause some line twist. And so I know myself and Aaron Martin's other guys, we fish a drop shot and hang it just like that. Trick number one. And if you're not already doing so, when you tie your drop shot hook on there, you definitely want to take your tag in, the part you're putting your weight on, and you want to put it back through the hook eye. That's a little trick number two. What it does is it makes the hook stand out parallel to the line. So anytime you're putting any pressure on the line, you can see that hook is kind of bobbing up and down like that. Puts a little bit more action in there. Again, we're talking about something that's very a very subtle presentation. Tip number three, little trick coming at you. I've got no places before where I can put the bait down there and I know it's in front of fish, but I'm not getting bit. So what you can do, and it doesn't matter any kind of a worm, you can do this. You can take it off of the nose rig and then just go right through the side, wacky style. Now, the one big difference with going wacky style on a drop shot is that drop shot takes longer to sink down there. If you have a shorter, slimmer worm that you're gonna go wacky with, which is what I would recommend, it's still gonna cause extra resistance and your bait is gonna take longer to get to the bottom. So it'll make you a little less efficient, but there are times when you're gonna catch more fish because you're giving those fish a totally different action with that bait, underwater just kind of collapsing and coming straight again. And if you use a longer worm like this right here, if you're gonna use a longer one, you can definitely wacky rig it if you're not around a whole lot of cover. That's trick number three. Trick number four is Texas rigging on a drop shot. Now this is a commonly used, it's a commonly used hook that we use for drop shotting. And what you do is you're just gonna thread the worm right on there and you're just gonna Texas rig it. This is really good around fishing light grass, fishing around brush and places like that. Just having that thing Texas rigged on there. And also, I know a number of people, and I do it occasionally, I know a lot of people when they're fishing a longer worm, like this right here, or a robo worm, something like that that has a little more length to it, they use one of these style hooks. This is a Gamakatsu hook right here, but this one right here, it puts the hook point back a little bit further in the worm. So if you get those fish, believe it or not, they'll come up there and just mouth that worm. They'll come up there and just get part of it. Or they might go ahead and eat the whole thing. When you lean back on them and those fish go to start fighting, you'll hook them deeper in the roof of the mouth, in places where they're not going to throw the hook as easy, and you might have a lot higher success rate of landing the fish if you go to a Texas style, if it's not affecting the action of your worm. So that's another trick. One of the other tricks that I've been doing lately is that I've been shortening up my leader. This is kind of a standard length here. It's about 1 foot long. There are a lot of times when I fish around tidal fisheries, I fish around places where I'm fishing real shallow, like I'm fishing right up against the bank. I'm gonna Texas rig the worm, And then I'm gonna have about a 4-inch leader. My leader is gonna be about that long. And you can take that little leader and a lighter weight, a 1/16 ounce weight is probably kind of standard for what I like for doing that. And you can throw it through brush just like we have right here. You can throw it up against the bank and fish it through those rocks, real light stuff like that. Go really light on your shallow cover drop shotting and shorten up that leader. You can get that thing through a lot of different types of cover and you can catch a lot more fish doing it. So try those drop shot tricks and I'll bet you catch more fish with your drop shot.